Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working on getting some semblance of a Persian economy online. As of right now, of course, there's not much of an economy. So that is absolutely a problem. We do have this iron mine here. It's being worked on. We should probably, now that we have an iron mine, we should probably go into our iron and get rid of at least some of this. So this is currently negative. These two are positive. I'm going to get rid of this one. There we go. So that'll be fine. We have an impetus shortage of iron, but I'm hoping that what that will do is drive employment in this iron mine. That would be ideal. And we are up to 2K now, 2.4K. So that's looking solid. We need to get our country industrialized to some degree here, and that's absolutely what we're working on doing. So our investment pool is currently positive very slightly, and our overall finances are very slightly negative. This is mostly due to our taxation situation. We can always crank our taxes if we feel like it, but for right now, there's no real need to do that. Okay, I'm just looking at what's going on over here. Sure, that looks reasonably fine for now. We'll get to those. I'm much more concerned at this moment at getting some semblance of an economy online. So we know that there's these opium plantations in Khorasan. Actually, hang on. So, claim Greater Khorasan. Yet none of these are currently available. What do we need for this? Great Britain may not be okay with that. A military mission. Interesting. But none of these are currently available. So that's understood. I'm interested in potentially going after someone down here, like perhaps Macron. They would actually be pretty vulnerable if they don't have anyone else. Kalat is their overlord. Okay, so that's these guys here. Do we care about that? Probably not, to be honest. So, we have a way stronger army than the two of them put together. We could potentially just attack these two and then start swinging up this direction to drive a wedge up this way, get borders with China, and then head up here to try to annex all of this territory. That's a theoretical possibility. So I'm strongly considering doing this. We don't have... Do we have access to any diplomatic plays? Return state Bampur. Okay. Yes. I think we do this. So, who would actually potentially join this? Well, Great Britain's not very happy with us. I'm going to confirm this, but I'm going to head up to Great Britain and I'm going to begin improving relations with them. So that will be fine for the moment, and that means that we have started a diplomatic play down over this way. So that seems reasonably fine, but the question is anyone going to intervene? Hopefully not. So I'm going to mobilize just the 1st Persian army for right now, and we're going to deploy them out to this front. We're going to keep the other army in reserve for the moment. And I'm wondering what our mobilization settings are for the 1st. To be honest, this is fine. We shouldn't need anything more than that. So this seems reasonably okay. They are sending some forces out to the front line as well, but they are going to be a significantly weaker force. So then the question is anyone going to intervene? And if so, on which side? Well, we will see. So for now, we see a pretty sizable advantage over here if no one interferes. And hopefully no one interferes. That would be the dream at this moment. So you can see we're spending a little bit more money and we're negative in our bureaucracy. That is absolutely understood. We will deal with that, but for now, this tooling workshop is of utmost priority. Kalat backed down. Well then. That was unexpected. Huh. Well, that means, of course, that we're truced over here for now. So that's fine. That's going to be a 4-year truce. So that means that we could go after, like, Kandahar. And the question is, would anyone actually care about that? So we probably have something that we can do here. Yeah, this is a return state here. So we could try this as well. And we'll see if anybody actually goes into this. This is much lower. So Kandahar is stronger at 19 plus 8. So that's understood. They're still weaker than us, so we could potentially go after this. I'm just keeping an eye on our infamy over here, and we're not actually gaining all that much infamy for that. So what I want to do now is I want to keep these guys mobilized and have them just come out to this front now. Okay. So once again, we will see if anyone attempts to intervene in this. Okay, so we're at plus 31 over here right now. That's understood. We'll keep an eye on that situation. We have these guys as our subject, right? They're not sending forces to help us right now. They might later. So that's reasonably fine. When is that tooling workshop going to be done? 18 weeks is the answer. Okay, so that seems reasonably fine for now. I would like to expand our construction in, well, in not this location, in this location. So let's do that afterwards. And the reason why I want to expand our construction is because I want this investment pool to be being fully utilized. So we're going to do that after this tooling workshop. And we know that small arms are currently expensive. We know that artillery is expensive. We know that iron and wood are both expensive. Do we have a source of wood? Yes, we can build logging camps. Okay, so let's do exactly that somewhere around here. And then let's also see about constructing ourselves. And this is going to be further down the road. We might delay this, but I'd like to have an arms industry somewhere around, well, all of these are kind of going into the same place. I'm going to put this one down here, and then an artillery foundry I'm going to put over here. Now, those are currently net negative, and that's understood. These are going to be low priority. We're probably not going to build them anytime soon. I just want them there as a note to self that this is something that we'll eventually need to do. But this is not a high priority. Okay. So it looks like nobody is going to be joining in on this. That is very good to see. We're now in the countdown to war. So that's perfect. Absolutely wonderful. Everyone's going to declare neutrality. So we only have a small advantage over here right now. I'm going to mobilize our second army and bring them over as well, just to make sure that we have a pretty easy war here. So we're going to bring them on over. And the war has broken out. Reinforcements are on the way in here. And there we go. So we now have a very solid advantage here. And the real question is, at this point, how are these battles going to go? And that looks good. That's a good battle there. Beautiful. So that's fantastic. And we're just going to look to, for now, consolidate this area here. That's our overall goal. So we've got this battle occurring. We win that nice and easily. I like it. And we'll see how much infamy we want to take from this. Our infamy is currently at 0, so we don't really have any problem there. Our tooling workshops are going to be finishing in 2 weeks here. So I would like to back down on the price of, or rather on the importation of tools. I also want to check in on iron here. This is currently maxed. So there's no point right now in backing off on our iron imports yet. Emphasis on the yet. So let's get this construction sector done. And I think a second iron mine is fairly useful. 18.2k here, that should be acceptable. I'm going to queue this up, and this is going to be in priority higher than the arms and artillery foundries. So we're going to do something like that in the hopes that that is going to put us in a position where we can easily enough get rid of a number of our import routes, because that would be very useful. We do have a small arms shortage, and that's not surprising, but we're crushing Kandahar without any major concerns at this time. So they don't have anyone here at this point, so we'll just take all of that. That looks great. Apparently they do now. They're completely cut off, though. The first Kandahari army is going to do very badly over here. So this is fully under control at this point. This war is over. They don't know it yet, though. But it is absolutely fully under control. So that looks good. We're busily raising our relations with Great Britain, and hopefully that'll be done soon enough. Okay, so we've now consolidated fronts up here. That looks good. And this battle is going very badly for them. So yeah, this is absolutely fine. We're to get Kandahar under our control. So that looks perfect. And Khalsa Raj, what is their diplomacy? They have Jammu as a vassal, but that's it? Okay. So we want to push up like this way. These guys are part of the East India Company. These are not. So that's understood. We don't want to tangle with the East India Company right now. That would be a bad idea. No doubt about that. Our construction has finished, so we're now constructing faster, and as you can see, we're pulling from the investment pool now. That looks great. We're very happy about that. So our current construction is 2.2K. We're going to be pretty negative financially if we run out of investment pool, which we eventually will, but that's understood. I'm really not too concerned about that at this time. We can crank taxes. But we need to get our construction underway. So this war is going very well for us. No doubt about that. This battle is over. This battle is probably over as well. Yeah, this is just pretty free at this point. So that's looking good. The main problem over here is, of course, if Britain decides to show up. But for now, this is absolutely wonderful. We're going to have them fully occupied shortly. We are easily winning all of these battles, so that is wonderful. Yeah. So now we've got this battle here. That's another victory. And they capitulated. Okay, cool. So that's absolutely fine. All we got from them was the one location. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't capitulate quite that quickly and we'd be able to take a little bit more in exchange for infamy. But okay, I guess this is fine for now. And we should probably chill for a little bit while our forces regenerate their manpower. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we can think about maybe attacking like Herat and then Turkmenia would be the idea. We should ban dueling. There we go. Cool. So we still have an input goods shortage of iron. That's understood. We're working on this iron mine, and we've got 32 weeks on the expansion on that. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to produce more iron. That's for sure. I want to go into the tools here, and I want to cancel one of these. It's going to be this one from Russia. So that's going to drive up the price of tools. But overall, that looks reasonably fine. The price of tools going up is not actually that much of a problem because we want to employ up in this tooling workshop, right? We want to make this a lot more valuable. So that'll be fine. We're currently on crude tools. We should probably think about changing our production methods. We didn't do that last episode, so let's go through every single one of these. We could go to luxury furniture production. I don't think that's strictly speaking necessary right now. Okay, so I want to be on wrought iron tools, but this is going to cause big problems to the price of iron. That's understood. Russia is damaging relations with us. We are currently improving relations, so that's going to keep the relations where they're at. That's understood. Russia is domineering towards us, and that's not necessarily great. They'll likely try to make a subject out of us. So we need a friend, and a decent friend for that might end up being Britain, who is currently cautious towards us. So that would be a good option, potentially. We would like to be protected, but as of right now, there's not a hugely great opportunity for that. So that's understood. We're going to need way more iron, and that's definitely going to be a thing. We have an iron shortage. We could re-import iron at this point, and we're going to have to from the Russian market. That will help, but it will not solve the issue. But we're still going through our production methods here. So we've got our artillery foundries here. We've got wheat farms. They can go up to harvesting tools. This will drive up the price of tools. This is going to create significant economic problems. But we need to get there eventually, right? So that's understood that they're going to have low productivity, and I want to see where this is going to put us at. So we can go down to citrus orchards. This would be... The price of sugar is really, really low. Honestly, we should probably stay on grain for right now. Okay, so that seems fine. We've got butchering tools here. This is going to be another blow to our tooling price. That is absolutely understood. Tools are going to be a big problem at this time. Plantations, there's not really much we can do about. We're not organizing our barracks training at this moment. No point in going to gas streetlights. I don't think there's any point right now in going to market squares either. We have fundamental economic issues, right? So we can go to sawmills and we can do like some hardwood production, but we don't really have any demand for hardwood right now. So that's not really a required thing. Fishing trawlers, we don't really produce much for clippers, I'm willing to bet. Do we have... Hang on. Do we have any shipyards? No. No, we don't. Well, these are rural buildings. Hang on, they've changed this a little bit. So this is urban buildings here. This is all buildings. Okay, they've definitely changed the way that this works a little bit, but that's neat. So we do not have any shipyards, so that means we should not go to clippers. So we're going to have a very significant tool shortage, and I want to let this update. Okay, so there we go. So we can see we're currently trying to sell 22.9, and we're currently trying to buy 93.5. That's incredibly significant. So we're going to import from Russia, but that's not really going to solve the problem. The core issue here is that we need to produce more tools, and that is always going to be the case at this stage of the game. So let's go over to Coruscant, and why is this currently going negative? Because of the input goods shortage of iron. That's why. Okay, so we're going to queue up one more tooling workshop here. That should go here for now. And we're going to get this iron mine finished up. So we need to import iron and tools. Both of these are very necessary. We cannot import more iron and we cannot import more tools than we are right now. So that is understood, and that's going to be a significant problem for us going forward. We need to produce a lot of both. That's okay for now. We're going to be having another iron mine done in 14 weeks. And this iron mine is absolutely going to hire in as quickly as it can, with the price of iron being where it's at. Of course, it also needs tools. So producing iron requires tools, and producing tools requires iron. So we have to go back and forth between the two of them until we strike a balance, is the way that this is going to work. But we're going to construct them fairly slowly. Our investment pool is growing at this point, but I don't think that there's a good reason to build more construction just yet. Not when our iron and tools are in such a bad state, and our overall construction here, we would actually have to go in here. Our overall construction sector here, we can see it uses tools and iron. So there's not really a point until we get the tools and iron situation solved. So first things first, we're going to get this iron mine done. That's 7 weeks out. And what's our current iron mine up here producing? So if we go into this iron mine, we can see it's currently producing 18 per week. So this is 18.6. So this will chip away at the shortage here, but it won't completely eliminate it. So we know that we're going to need roughly... What's 18.6 times 3? It's going to be increasing a little bit due to economy of scale, but 18.6 times 3 would be... Yeah, that would be enough. Okay, so we would need some additional iron mines here, 3 in total. So we would want to have 1, and then 2 and 3, like that. And then tooling workshops, we're at a roughly similar amount, right? So let's grab tooling workshops here, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to have this go alternating between the iron and the tools. So we'll move the iron up to here, and then we'll put tools here, and then iron here, and then tools here, and then our arms and artillery, which we're not that concerned about right now. Those are mostly just there in case we're not building anything else. They're low priority. So we can see our GDP has dropped, and the reason for that is due to our input goods shortages, but we are working on those. So that'll be fine for now, and the iron mine is going to be done in 3 weeks here. That's going to be a big, big boon. So that looks great. We're holding Russia at neutral 18 as of right now. If Russia makes us their subject, it kind of depends what kind of subject they make us. But we're not going to really be able to resist them very thoroughly without a friend. So that's the reason why we're improving relations with the Ottoman Empire and with Great Britain. We just kind of want to play all 3 of these powers off of each other, is the idea here. So hopefully that'll end up being okay. Fingers crossed. So we did finish up our iron mine here. That's great. And we are going to see the iron mine hiring up very quickly. Yeah, and we can see it producing additional iron. Economy of scale bonus is reduced by 50% due to 2 out of 2 nationally owned levels. Interesting. So we don't get the economy of scale bonus unless they're privately owned. Never mind. It's just half the bonus. Okay. So we are getting that 1% economy of scale throughput. So that sounds good. We're currently at 38 iron produced per week, which puts us at no longer an input goods shortage. The price of iron has dropped. So that's great. Next up, we just finished up in our society research academia, which is going to allow us to go to private schools, as well as unlock universities and give a little bit more education access per wealth. So that'll be absolutely fine. We could go to medical degrees, which would probably be good for increasing our pop growth, which is positive at this time. So that is definitely a step in the right direction. No doubt about that. So our tooling workshops are going to be worked on here. And this is actually probably slightly overbuilt. I'm going to cancel... I changed my mind on that because of the import routes. I was going to say that it's slightly overbuilt and we don't quite need the number that we have there, but actually I think that we do need the number because I want to cancel those import routes and make us self-sufficient in that front. So that'll be reasonably fine. And I do want to go into our laws now and see about changing from no home affairs to potentially National Guard. Looks like everybody's in favor of this. Pretty much. The intelligentsia are opposed to it, but we can definitely work on enacting that. That'll be a useful thing for us. Okay. So that's absolutely fine for now. One thing I'm wondering is how many... Okay, no conscript battalions right now, but National Guard should help that. So that looks good for the moment, and we are up to 18 construction at this time, which is good. Now you can see here we're about to run out of money, and that probably means that we need to boost up our taxes. I'm going to put us at medium taxes at this time. That's going to drop standard of living somewhat, but we are now positive financially. So that looks good, and we're going to continue constructing at our current pace. So that all seems fine for now. And what are we building in private construction? Absolutely nothing. We're waiting for a tooling workshop in Tabriz. Okay. Oman is improving relations with us, and we just had an advance on enacting National Guard. So that's wonderful. Let's take the 15%, I think. Yeah, I don't want the landowners to get more powerful. So this is fine for now. Cool. So let's get National Guard enacted. That will help us defend ourselves. And how are we doing over here? Well, our manpower numbers are still down. That's understood. What's our recruitment like? Okay. Well, our training rate is super, super low because we don't have... If we go into our buildings here and we go down to our barracks, Barracks. Here we go. We have no organized training. So our training rate is very, very low. I'd like to go to general training, but we're going to need general staff for that. So that's not going to be a thing just yet. Do we want segregation? It doesn't really matter, actually. This is fine. So we progressed up to consideration on National Guard. That's looking great. I keep trying to scroll down on this like in Stellaris, and it keeps zooming me back out. Hilarious. Okay, so that's all wonderful. We're going to have a tooling workshop done in Coruscant soon. And tools are currently expensive, but they're not hugely overdone, right? I wouldn't mind removing some trade routes here, or one trade route, and it's going to be this one for the time being. That's going to spike the cost of tools here on this next week tick, but we're about to finish a tooling workshop, so that should be reasonably fine. We could also potentially think about spiking the price of iron, and I'm going to do that here. Okay. So that should be reasonably good, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, hopefully Russia isn't going to do anything to us, and we're probably going to start thinking about attacking Herat fairly soon here. That's probably going to be a thing that we're going to do. They're actually surprisingly strong, so I'm a little concerned about our training rate then at that rate, but we'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGar, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.